What is going on, man? I see we got some people in here already. What's up, everybody? I'm sorry I'm late. I just don't give up. No, just kidding, man. What's going on? Yeah, I pulled a UFC live stream stunt, man. They're always late, man. They're always late. And I am late to my own stream, so sometimes it's like that, man. What's up, Jesus? What's up, Lahib? What's up, Pia? How you doing? What's up, Colostrum? What's up, Jason? Why so late, brother? I had to make a coffee, man, and it was taking a little longer than what I thought it was going to take to make the coffee. So the machine was giving me a little bit of a problem. Can't stand when that happens, man. So what's up, Elton? How you doing? I put it in. I have one of those, whenever you put it in and the light's blinking, and then I got to hit the light and then it starts. And for some reason, it stopped blinking, and it said that it was on, but it wasn't brewing anything. So then I had to pop it back open, play this whole game. So that's why I'm late, man. Blame the coffee machine. So what's up, everybody? You just arrived in New York a few hours ago. You're going to the ceremonial weigh-ins later and going to the event tomorrow. So I enjoy that, man. The ceremonial weigh-ins are actually really, really, really fun. So I went to the 319 event. So the ceremonial weigh-ins, man, are a ton of fun, dude. Ton of fun. I think that's better than the press conference. I actually enjoyed, I enjoy the fights, don't get me wrong. My favorite experience of everything was actually the ceremonial weigh-ins. So when you're there, other fighters, they'll probably show up during the ceremonial weigh-ins. That's one of the things that you don't get to see on the broadcast is when I was there, Poatan came in right kind of at the start. Pereira came in, Kamaru Usman came in, and everybody goes crazy and stuff. So it's actually really fun. I enjoy the ceremonial weigh-ins. You've been watching me recently. My breakdown really interesting. I appreciate it, man. Dude, Brady versus Morales is going to be insane. I feel that way, man. I feel that way. So I want to hop into this here. And just a few is letting a few more people hop on here since we just got rolling. So first, I'm going to go through what I thought of the press conference. So, and then we're going to roll into the main card. I think actually some of the other fights on the prelims, I'm thinking I might do So I dropped the X's and O's video and I got a lot of good responses. So people seem to really like those videos. So I didn't know if they were that interesting. So I just usually do them because I'm yapping enough about the fight. So might as well just make a video. So that's just me just pretty much yapping and giving my thoughts out. And then I just make a video out of it. So I'm glad people like those. So yeah, I'm basically going to do that on this live stream we'll take a look at the card. I'm definitely doing the main card. I might do Bo Nickel, Rodolfo Vieira. I'm definitely going to do that one. Maybe a few others. So just a few more things in the chat, and then I'm going to share my screen, so it's going to be hard to see some of the stuff here. Did I see Malcolm Wallmaker's replacement? Yeah, forget his name. Let me pull it up. I did look him up, though. Ethan Ewing. I have never seen the name Ethan spelt like that, if that's actually how it's pronounced. I think that's Ethan, right? I've never seen anyone in my entire life with it. I've met a lot of Ethans, and it's always spelled E-T-H-A-N, man. I have never seen on the UFC's website, it says E-T-H-Y-N. So we'll take a look at it in a second. I didn't realize that, man, that's crazy, man. Chael picked Islam. Oh no, man. Well, but it offsets though, because Holloway picked JDM. So Holloway's 0 for 1,000 on fight predictions. So Chael and Holloway are horrible at predicting fights. So is Adesanya usually. Izzy, I think, picked JDM too. And every time Izzy says someone's going to get KO'd, it's usually, well, actually, no, Izzy's got pretty good accuracy, much better than Chael and Holloway. Holloway and Chael are horrible with fight predictions. And in general, a lot of the fighters actually have bad predictions, because I watched James Lynch's MMA pros pick video, and usually a lot of them get the picks wrong. And, a lot of the fighters, they get that they know each other, but a lot of them are so afraid to make a prediction. They're like, I don't know. I could see it if it's this. It's make a pick, man. Make a pick, So I think that's what makes the MMA YouTube scene kind of fun, is we just kind of make a prediction. And if we're right, we're right. You could, glaze us for it. And then if we get it wrong, then you could grill us for it. That's, I think, what makes it kind of fun. Yaldasanya picked JDM, which also, I wouldn't say guarantees because Izzy's gotten a few right. But yeah, Chill is always damn near wrong, it seems. And so is Holloway. Holloway's got awful predictions, man, which is kind of crazy because I like Max, but his predictions are really bad. They are. And half the time, dude, if you ever listen to a Max Holloway breakdown, it seems like he doesn't even know who some of the fighters are. Like he picked Abus Magomedov over Piper because he thought that they trade with Habib. He's like, yeah, I can't pick against those guys, man. They just know how to grapple. I'm like, Abus is a striker. So yeah, Holloway's predictions are actually kind of funny because he doesn't even know who most of the people are. Bilal, he has very good accuracy on predictions. It's hard to remember which fighters are all making predictions, but the majority of them have bad predictions. Bilal he actually might be the best out of all the active fighters that have a YouTube that make picks. I think actually he's probably the most accurate. Actually. So yeah, shout out to Bilal, man, because he gets a lot of them right, I think. JDM does look, he does look pretty big right now. Okay. I'm going to talk about the press conference. Did I see Tracy Cortez didn't even know Islam was fighting on the same card? I don't believe it whatsoever. I don't believe her at all. How are you going to be like, it's actually kind of funny because like the fact that anyone, like, how can you believe her? Yeah. You're fighting at MSG and you don't even know like what card you're a part of. Doesn't she sign the posters? Is that where she because wasn't it in a Nina vlog? She's like, oh, I guess Islam's on the card. Don't you sign the posters and see that he's on the fucking card? So I don't believe that. That was just probably for some clickbait BS. All right. Press conference. I actually thought that it was one of the better press conferences we've had in a while. And I don't mean from the aspect of it was so entertaining, but it was more so the shock factor for me. One, Islam got a ton of pop, which I'm not surprised because Islam is one of the biggest stars in the UFC. So I figured that he was going to get a ton of pop, right? And JDM, I actually was kind of disappointed that people were booing JDM, man, because like whether you're rooting for Islam or not, like Jack is as cool as it gets, man. Like he's as cool as a cucumber Jack, man. Like I like JDM and I didn't like seeing people boo him. I get that you're trying to support Islam, but when you're like, when you're real cool, like JDM, man, who's real respectful, like, I don't know. But again, I get it. It's part of the thing. So I was actually surprised by that. Actually, I was actually really surprised that, that JDM was getting booed. Like, I'm not surprised that people were cheering for Islam, but I was surprised that JDM was getting booed like that. And then Jean Pork, dude, that is literally, I got to be honest, that might be the funniest thing in the history of the UFC, man. I have never seen the MMA community come together so much on one thing. And I understand, brother, this is haram, right? Like calling him John Pork is wild, man, right? But at the end of the day, like that video, if you listen to that video, it sounded like Islam said, what he says, Chancho, like the way that his cadence, the way he says his nickname sounded like he said John Pork. If you watch that video, it sounds like he said John Pork. It does. It really does to me, man. But dude, I mean, have we ever seen this? Someone come off of the Contender Series, has not even fought in the UFC and is already becoming a massive star. He's already a big star, dude. And not only that, I think he should just lean into it, man. I get it. Like I would not want someone calling me John Pork. So I'm going to be the first to say that. All right. I'd be the first to say that. But at the same time, when you start telling people, hey man, don't call me this, people are going to call you that. They are. Like, I'm just sorry. People are going to start doubling down. They're going to start calling you that even more now, the more that you keep bringing attention to it. And yeah, I mean, if someone said that I look like a cartoon pig, I wouldn't be too thrilled about it. But dude, he's literally like, he is literally one of the most popular guys in the UFC at this moment. Like on the come up. He's got motion, dude. He's got crazy motion. And if I'm him, I'm just riding the wave, man. Like, I get it. It's not, to me, it's not that deep. It's just they literally thought Islam said John Pork. And then people, I don't know who, found the picture of John. I didn't even know who John Pork was. And then I saw the whole thing and like, he's got motion, man. He's got pop, dude. Crazy pop. Did you see like rolling up to the press conference and everyone was going nuts and he's not even fighting? So, yeah, and he's a smiley guy, man. He's always smiling, dude. He's always in a good mood. And let me tell you, when you talk about, I'm not gonna say it just yet because we need to see him a little bit in the UFC. Is he not going to be the most entertaining and dangerous fighter on the feet out of that camp that we have ever seen? I think so, dude. What we saw in the Contender Series was batshit crazy, dude. He is so good, man. So good on the feet. Nasty Muay Thai. He's got some sting. He's got variety. I'm going to do a prospects fighters to watch video towards the end of the year once I know we got like a few weeks left really of the UFC, but he's someone I'm going to talk about in that video, man. He is crazy, crazy good. Yeah, he did. He did. He broke some sort of records for strikes, and I couldn't remember if it was like in the UFC / Dana White Contender Series or only for Dana White Contender Series. So, yeah, man, I know he's not thrilled with the nickname, and I get it, but at the end of the day, like, dude, he's got motion, man. He has serious motion. He is a big star, and he's a star in the making for sure, man. And his fighting style, it doesn't get any better than that. And people that don't know what they're talking about, they're going to see him, they're going to hear his name, and they're going to be like, Zainakov. They're going to be like, oh, he's just one of those grapplers. And I'm like, dude, his striking and his Muay Thai is nasty, dude. Nasty. If you guys did not see his fight on the Contender Series, I don't know if it's on YouTube or I don't know if you have Fight Pass, if you can pull up DWCS fights. He was, dude, so good, man. So good, man. So, yeah, that was actually probably my biggest takeaway was how much pop he got. And then number 2, Michael Morales, if he goes out there and beats Brady, dude, I think I don't know if they're going to give him the title shot because if Protest goes out there and flatlines Edwards, then, I mean, you got some – you got a little something there, but Michael Morales kind of just has a little bit of that factor, man, to where I could just see the UFC just trying to strap a rocket to his back, man, because he's undefeated, which is super marketable. And he speaks, Spanish, right? I mean, he taps into so many different markets in the UFC. I mean, this is no mystery. The UFC has been desperate for they got Ilya, right? Because Ilya's English is very good as well, but he speaks Spanish, right? So when you could tap into those markets, man, the UFC has been just drooling to be able to do that. And you mean to tell me Morales, who has got a super fun style to watch, I call him the unicorn because he's a freak athlete. He's big, he's strong. So I don't know, man. I think my biggest takeaways were Michael Morales, if he goes out there and handles business against Brady, I picked him to win. I think that Michael Morales is going to knock out Brady. I really do. I think his ground game is underrated. I know we've seen him in some bad positions, but Morales is he's one of those studs that grew up in the UFC. So a lot of the guys people are like grilling his takedown defense and this and that. And I'm like, guys, he was 20 couple years old. Normally fighters at that age are on the regional scene making those mistakes. He's making those mistakes in the UFC on like big cards. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm taking it, right? And everyone's, oh, well, he's been taken down. And I'm like, yeah, but those are against guys Adam Fugit. I know he's not that great, but still, that's, it would be like something that's on the regional scene. You know what I mean? Like on the regional scene, that's usually where you see guys okay, their takedown defense looks a little spotty or whatever, but they have time to plug those gaps. And usually they plug them by the time they get to the UFC, but it's the fact that Morales has been in the UFC the whole time as a young basically a young prospect. And now he's really filling out into his frame, man. So Vamos Ecuador. What's up, V10? How are you? You've watched me for a while, man. On behalf of us Ecuadorians, we appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Michael Morales. Big Marlon Chito Vera fan as well. Yeah, he has good striking, but brother, nobody checked the grappling. Yeah, I would find it hard to believe that Chancho or is it Chancho or Chanko? It's Chanko. I think I said it wrong the first time. Dude, I'm not even gonna lie, man. I'm just, dude, and you know when you're screwed? I'll tell you when you know you're really screwed. You're telling people don't call you that, and I get it. I believe me, I get it. I don't think it's that deep, but I get it. If you go to Google and type in John Pork and you don't even finish the PO, you just go John and then PO, dude, it's already finishing out in the search engine for you. John Pork UFC. And then he pops right up, man. So he's going to be one of the biggest stars in the UFC as long as he can go in there and back it up, which I think that he is. And Islam was laughing. Islam was laughing at the press conference. Brother, please don't call him John Pork. It's John Coe. And he's laughing the whole time. So he's not helping the case, man. And like I said, I don't think it's that deep. Again, it's a cartoon pig. I get it. Haram. I get it, man. But at the end of the day, like, we got motion here. We got motion, man. So, yeah, I'm excited for him, man, because his fighting style is so good. It's so good, man. And to have one fight on the Contender Series like that and then not even fight yet and have this kind of, like, draw is crazy. And then my other big takeaway, like I said, is Morales. I think that he is he just has the, he showed up in, I think he was wearing a mink, wasn't he? I mean, confident, man. No shirt underneath, right? Took the mink off for the I was laughing at that because I thought he had a shirt on underneath. So he's a big guy for the weight class, man. I think that we'll see him at middleweight someday. So you're hoping Morales wins inverted free solo? Yeah, I mean, may the best man win. I like Sean Brady as well, but it just feels like Morales has just got like this different kind of swag, this different kind of marketability that I think the UFC, like, the more I think about it, like, I know that it's kind of pitched as, oh, well, Brady didn't really have anyone to fight. And I get that. I feel like the UFC booked this fight knowing what they were doing. They're like, if Morales can just somewhat stop a takedown. I mean, now granted, Brady's damn good on the ground. He's by far the best fighter that Morales has fought. But I mean, dude, if he can keep this thing on the feet, like, he's KOing Brady, man. Like, he absolutely is. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. We'll have to see if his ground game holds up. I think it's going to surprise some people. That's my thoughts on that. Islam totally solidified it when he asked the crowd not to call him John Pork. That's what I was just saying, man. Like, I had a teacher that always used to say, he was like messing with us. He's like, do not turn to page 81. And what's everybody doing in the class? They're like looking up. They're like turning to page 81. And then after a while, he's like, there's nothing on page 81. I just wanted to prove the point that when you tell people not to do something, they're like going to be more likely to do it. So at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't be thrilled about somebody calling me that. But at the end of the day, man, like, he's got some serious motion here, man. Serious motion. You know how many fighters, dream. They're good fighters, but at the end of the day, there's the entertainment side. There's the marketability. They dream to be in a scenario to where they can be marketable and, have a bunch of hype. And this guy's got it, man. He's got it. And not only that, he has the fighting style. So, yeah, we'll see, man. You think Brady, what's up, Klaus? You think that Brady seems like a douche? I mean, I don't know. Like, I've never met Brady, so I don't know, man. He seems confident, right? When you go out there, and I feel like we see this different energy from Brady ever since he did what he did to Edwards. I'll say that. It feels like he's got a lot more confidence now, which I get it. But at the end of the day, it's like, I think Morales is a harder fight than Leon Edwards because Morales is actually going to he's going to open up and try to hurt you, right? Where Leon, it's a little bit more tactical, on the back foot, sticking and moving kind of thing. Islam, good on the microphone last night as well. Nothing crazy happened at the press conference, right? I was training, so I missed it. I had to come home and catch the replay or just rewind it or whatever. But yeah, man, I'm excited for these fights, man. Super excited. Jack is cool, calm, and collected, man. Nothing phases that guy. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed that he got booed because, I've said this before. I'm a big fan of both of these guys. You guys know I'm a big Islam fan. This is the first time, and I'm going to say this. I don't think I've said this in a video yet. This is the first time that I truly feel like there's a real shot that Islam loses this fight. I never felt like that against I never really felt like that against Charles, right? I knew that, okay, you're going to play with him on the ground. There's some problems. I get that. Prime Volkanovski, I was like, I feel like Islam's going to win, right? Because of his ground game and his striking's improving. And he went out there and that was a good fight. But since then, since that Prime Volk fight, I just haven't felt like that Islam's been coming into a fight where I'm like, man, danger here. This is the first time that I sit there and I go, we're not just talking about, oh, yeah, so he gets outscored and loses or whatever. No, like we're talking about a guy in JDM who has the ability to shut his lights out. It has the ability to accumulate the damage, stop the takedown, scramble safely, get to his feet, and put it on him and get him out of there. People People are literally delusional about this fight, man. Like, Jack fans are delusional, thinking that Islam's too small and doesn't have a shot. I'm like, dude, literally high-level grapplers can do that against guys that are significantly bigger than them. But it's the fact that it's an MMA fight. We know that Jack is very much preparing for the ground game, but I'm telling you right now, I believe in Islam Makhachev. I always have. But to not recognize the danger that JDM presents here is absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Maybe JDM runs over Islam. Maybe Islam runs over JDM. Yeah. But the fact that people aren't recognizing that there's danger here, man, is crazy. JDM is so dangerous, man. So dangerous. This is by far the toughest tests are, without question, Prime Volkanovski, this fight. And, I even say at the time Charles Oliveira, but I guess looking back, because Ilya made easy work of Charles. We've seen Charles get hit a lot in his fights. So it was the fact that Charles is this super prolific finisher. But we can't kid ourselves, man. Like, this is, in my opinion, the scariest and hardest fight for Islam that he's had I think it's by far. And now it's funny how everyone was calling me crazy for saying JDM's the best striker he fought. And they're like, what about Prime Volk? Now people are starting to be doing these breakdowns, man. And I'm telling you, Volkanovski's ground game might be better. He's got the lower center of gravity, harder to take down. But in terms of the versatility on the feet, Jack is better than Volk. He is. He is, man. And I know, he outstruck Max Holloway. It's very impressive. Very, very impressive. And Volk is the GOAT featherweight, man. I've said that for the longest time, and he's very, very good. But the fact that JDM's boxing is so good, that to me elevates, and his kicks are underrated, man. And his knees and elbows are actually nasty. So he's got more of a variety on the feet, I think, than Volkanovski. Volk's faster, of course. He's a smaller and faster guy. And, Volk, it's a different kind of challenge. It's a matchup thing. But I'm saying JDM's a big guy, man. And the size, factor, I thought that they were going to be a little bit similar. But again, I don't know until we get in there with rehydration and, social media and pictures and whatever. Maybe Islam is going to be a little bit smaller than him. Not height-wise, right? Height-wise, they're about the same. But stature-wise, JDM looks thicker to me, man. Thicker, looks a little bit girthier, if you will, Saying Volk is a bigger threat standing than JDM. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, JDM is literally, dude, I don't understand how people are not pulling dude, if you're picking Islam and you just think that he's going to run him over, there's definitely, of course, it's a fight. Anything can happen. I'm telling you right now, as a huge Islam fan, I'm a big fan of JDM as well. Jack is by far the most dangerous guy that Islam has fought. Get this delusion out of your head that Jack is always a volume puncher. When you are the lighter guy coming up and you get hit by a guy that is naturally carrying around that weight, Jack hits hard, man. He hits hard. So, I don't know, man. I want to see the ceremonial weigh-ins tonight, because that's where they're like pretty rehydrated. Shirts are off, no homo. But we get to really kind of see what their physiques look like. So that sounds so gay, bro. But you know what I mean? Like, they're going to have their shirts off. I just got to stop saying it. At the ceremonial weigh-in, when they're like, squaring up, that's where they're pretty rehydrated. Not fully rehydrated, but they weighed in this morning. They got several hours, so they're going to fill back out into their frame. So, yeah, that's where we're going to get a little bit of a better kind of look at it. But JDM just looks more stout to me. So, we'll see, though. Yeah, and Poirier hits hard as well. Poirier hits hard. And I would like to see, what if Poirier was at 170? How would his power look at 170, I wonder? I think Volkanovski is... No, I don't think it's a big disrespect comparing JDM to Volkanovski. JDM, I don't think his ground game is good on the ground, but in terms of takedown defense and the overall greatness, I give that to Volkanovski all day long. I'm saying in terms of the striking, JDM has more variety than Volkanovski, and his boxing is so good that I feel like it puts him in a little bit of a different, striking category, in my opinion. Personally. Islam hasn't been chinny in a decade. Well, a lot of that is he's got good defense and he doesn't really get hit that clean. So, yeah, Islam's not underestimating Jack whatsoever. He has not underestimated Jack whatsoever, which is, good. I hope because JDM's for real, man. To go out there and do it. It's crazy how, like, all of a sudden, well, oh, we just beat Bilal. I'm like, dude, Bilal literally he was on a crazy win streak. He is a hard style to deal with, and JDM put it on him, man. So if you do that against Bilal, like, that's incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive, man. So this is the most dangerous fight I think that Islam has had. So we'll see. We'll see come fight night. So those are my thoughts on, the press conference and everything. I think that we got a big star coming off the Contender Series in Zanikov, and then we have Jean Pork, brother. And then we got Michael Morales, man. I think that I think he's a budding star. I mean, he already is a star, but I think he's going to be a superstar, especially if he could go out there and beat Sean Brady. Let's get into these breakdowns, man. So I guess this is the second part of the live. Let me see. Let me make sure this is working. Let me make sure you guys can see this screen. I wonder if I can go back and forth. I think I can. Yeah, wait. So this is what I was telling you guys. Look, this guy's name is Ethan. I think it's pronounced Ethan. Was it? Right here. Ethan. I have never seen a human being with the name Ethan spelt like that. Very interesting. Ethan with a Y. Interesting stuff, man. So I guess we'll start with, where should we start? I feel like everybody kind of knows what to expect on these other fights here. Let me see. I think you guys can see this, right? Chanko. Please call him Chanko, brother. I think you guys can see this, right? I know. What a way to spell Ethan, man. That is very odd. Very, very odd. Yeah, but if you guys didn't see my full card predictions and breakdown video, that is on the channel. It's been up since, I think, like said Sunday. So it's been up for a while. I imagine most of you have seen that. All right. I'm still going with Camilo. I think he gets this one done. I just think that his ground game is going to be the difference. Borshov, he just hasn't shown that his ground game is good, man. And as much as I like Slava Claus and, maybe Christmas strikes in November, comes a little bit early, right? Slava comes, coming down the chimney. I don't think it's going to happen, man. You can't see it? You can't see the screen? It's showing that you guys can see it. I'm on the UFC's website. Yeah, I don't think Camilo's all that either. Man. Let me pull it up on my phone. I want to make sure you guys can see it. Camilo, I even said in my breakdown, I'm picking him, but I'm not. I don't know, man. I'm not sold on him. I think that he can beat. Man, I see you guys, man. Not can't, can. Okay, you guys are trolling me, man. I'm just trying to make sure you guys can actually see this before I am doing this, and then you can't actually see it. I'm trying to actually click on my own live, and it won't work. That's weird. Let me try. Oh, there we go. Of course, it's going to make me watch an ad. I don't trust Camilo, though. I don't trust him. I think that if Slava Claus can keep it on the feet and stop the takedowns, I think he's got actually a really good shot to win. He's the better striker. I know that people are out here talking about Camilo being a good striker and all this and that. I don't think he's that good. I really don't. I don't think he's that good on the feet whatsoever. So I'm going Camilo. I think he gets a decision or probably a submission victory. His striking is wild. I don't think he's very technical. He's got power, but I think if he gets stuck on the feet, I think Slava Claus can bang his ass up and beat him up. So I don't count out, Slava Claus in this fight, but it's also on short notice for him. And I know it's shorter notice for Camilo as well, but he was actually preparing for a fight. And then they ended up, moving him to this card. I think he was preparing for Kareem Abdul-Swadi, or I don't remember who he was preparing for. I thought he was supposed to be on like the Abu Dhabi card or something. He was supposed to be fighting somebody that was more grappling based. So he's going to have the grappling edge here. And his ground game is shown to be pretty good, but I don't know, man. I even said that in my breakdown. I'm really not high on Camilo at all. I thought he had some moments against Gabe Green. And again, Gabe Green's not bad, right? Was a welterweight coming down the lightweight, big, strong guy, kind of, Camilo slowed down a little bit, and then ended up getting submitted. So I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of confidence in the guy, but he should be able to beat Borshov. If he can't beat Borshov, then at this point, he shouldn't be in the UFC. By Senghor, I think he's going to beat up on Islam Makhachev and get a KO. I think Fatima Klein beats Angela Hill. probably by decision. Maybe she gets a late round finish, but Angela Hill's shown she's pretty durable. I actually am surprised that Sabatini is the favorite in this because I told you guys I don't do the whole betting and I don't do any of that stuff. So I just go off of who I think is going to win. So I'm not really worried about the odds. I just kind of see when I'm on Tapology or whatever, it'll say so-and-so's the favorite or whatever. But it says here, I think Pat Sabatini, so my buddy was just telling me that Sabatini's actually the favorite, which I was surprised. I was actually very surprised about Pat Sabatini being the favorite because Chepe Mariscal actually beat him a few years back. It was before the UFC. And I get it. Fighters improve. And I'd say they've both gotten better. They both still fight the same, but they've both gotten better at what they do. I just feel like Sabatini, I mean, what's he going to do? Hold Chepe down for 15 minutes and control him? Maybe finds a submission? Like, Mariscal's good on the ground, man. I think he's pretty good on the ground. He's scrambly. He's scrappy. I don't see him just, accepting being held down on the bottom. I think he's going to try to scramble. Right. And then on the feet, his pressure and his volume, I think, is going to be a problem. That's really the difference. Is I don't think Sabatini's ground game is so much far superior compared to Chepe. And then on the feet, I think that Mariscal clearly has an advantage on the feet. And that to me is the difference. And his pace, dude. Klaus, you think Chepe is going to hit him and keep hitting him no matter where the fight takes place? Exactly. He's very active at all times. Active off of his back, active in grappling exchanges. So, yeah, I like Mariscal a lot in this fight, man. I was actually really surprised that he's the underdog. So, again, in rematches, you never know. They've gotten a lot better since then. But Mariscal won the first one. I think it was a split decision. I think this one will be close again. But I actually wouldn't be surprised that Mariscal actually might get a stoppage because Sabatini's not very durable. Daukaus, GM3. I'm still on Kyle Daukaus here. I think that he definitely gets this one done. I know it's like kind of scary putting a lot of faith in Daukaus because even though he went out there and beat Michel Pereira, this is his second run in the UFC. I feel like he's better than the first time he was in the UFC, though. I feel like he's really kind of matured. Yeah, I like Daukaus a lot in this fight. I have a lot of confidence in Daukaus to get this one done. I just feel like GM3 is the shell of himself at this point, and that little, what I say, the ghost of GM3's past, where you're beating up on him, he hangs around, and then you fall into his game, and then, you get into a scramble, and the next thing he submits you. And GM3 is live. If Daukaus kind of gasses out or can't get him out early, maybe something crazy could happen, but I just feel like those days of Gerald are over. I feel like it's more so about the UFC, trying to get Kyle Daukaus another win. Like, I feel like Michel Pereira, he is way more dangerous at this point in time than GM3. At least on the feet. On the ground, GM3 still solid, but is he really at this point, though? I don't know, man. I'm not sold on it. He gets hit too easy. His striking isn't good. Yeah, Jesus, you think it's a little bit of a step down? Considering how explosive Michel Pereira is, yeah, it seems like it might be. But again, GM3 is still very good on the ground, but I just feel like those days of the come from behind wins are over. If that's what you're banking on and then you get older and your chin starts to go, that's just not a great game plan. Wellmaker versus Ethan Ewing. Not a lot to break down here. I saw, what's up, Entertain? What's up, Joey? How you guys doing? I think that what I've seen from Ethan Ewing is he likes to strike. He does have a little bit of a ground game as well, but he's predominantly a striker. He's got 7 wins by KO. Seems pretty good. I think he just fought not that long ago, actually, and just got a win. So he was just recently, in a fight. So I feel like he's going to come into this fresh, ready to go. But, are we really worried about a guy that hasn't really shown anything at a high level yet against one of the most hyped up, dangerous prospects in the UFC right now in Wellmaker? Like, Wellmaker was preparing for Series City. Then it was Cody Haddon, which, by the way, that sucks that fell apart. I don't know what happened with Cody Haddon, but I was really looking forward to Haddon versus Wellmaker. But yeah, this just feels like they wanted to keep Wellmaker on the MSG card. So I'm glad they did. I'm glad, shout out to Ethan for stepping in here, Ethan with a Y, and making this happen. So then that way Wellmaker can stay on the card. But I don't know, man. I think that Wellmaker is going to knock him out in the first round probably. So I said Wellmaker would knock out Haddon in round 2, but I'm going round 1 for a Malcolm Wellmaker KO over Ewing. Blanchfield Cortez. I got Blanchfield in this one. I know that they fought a while ago. I think it was in Invicta before the UFC, but I'm still going Blanchfield. She's better. She's just better. That's the reality. And Tracy Cortez's stupid comment of I didn't even know Islam was on this card. That pissed me off, man. Like that was just stupid. Like that. I don't understand. Obviously you signed up for this fight. You're signing posters. You know that he was headlining the card. If you're a fighter and you're fighting on a card and you don't know who the headliner is, you can't name the two people in the headliners. Like, get him off the card then. I don't know. I just thought that was stupid. But at the end of the day, like Tracy Cortez is traveling around to all these different events. I don't know. And people kind of read into that maybe a little too much because fighters, once you're, you've been around long enough to know how to kind of still train while you're on the road and, pop into this gym, that gym, but you're still not, in my opinion, you're still not 100% all the way locked in. Yeah, I think she was lying too, Jesus. I think she was lying. Yeah, I think Blanchfield's actually, I think she's very exciting. I think Blanchfield, she can be. She can be. I'll say she can be, right? Because she was getting some finishes, the Furo fight, again, Manon is really, really good. Blanchfield's last fight against Rose, right? She's kind of outmatched on the feet, so she just got to kind of lean onto the grappling a little bit. But some of her performances can be boring, but for WMMA standards, I feel like she's decently exciting compared to a lot of the other fighters. If Ethan with a Y beats Malcolm Wallmaker, dude, that would be absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. What's up, RCN? Yeah, JDM definitely looks like a real 170 pounder. He looks filled out, man, for sure. So yeah, I'm going Blanchfield. I just feel like her ground game is a step ahead of Tracy. Now, Tracy's actually pretty scrambly on the ground. And I know, Blanchfield beat Rose. Tracy lost to, Rose. It's a styles thing, though. It's a styles thing. Like, Tracy is going to be willing to kind of stand at range and try to outstrike Rose, which, I mean, good luck, right? Which is exactly what we saw when they fought. Rose is just better. But Blanchfield needs the grappling. She needs to entertain, she needs to get the takedown. She needs to get the fight to the floor. So it's a styles thing. But in this fight, if you go back and watch, I know you guys probably aren't, but I did for the prediction's sake because they fought together, or, fought against each other before. And it was really probably what we're going to see in this fight. It was, Blanchfield was playing from the bottom too much. She was trying to use her guard too much and was throwing up submissions. But back then it was, I can't remember how many years ago. It was at least a few years ago. And when you're on your back, even if you're threatening submissions, sometimes that doesn't look the best to the judges, which I don't always agree with, because if you're being active from your back, then that should be worth something, obviously, unless if someone's just laying on you. So I think Blanchfield wins this fight. I feel like her striking is improved. I feel like her wrestling is going to be an issue for Tracy in this fight. I think she's just going to take her down, control her on the ground. Now, Tracy's takedown defense is not the best, but she's scrambly on the ground, and she does actually have a solid ground game. So on the feet, I think Tracy still has the edge, but she's not that dangerous. So I think it might be a little bit more competitive than what people might expect, but I think Blanchfield gets it done pretty clearly, though. Competitive, but clear that Blanchfield won. All right, let's start doing some more. I'll kind of treat these like an X's and O's since people really like those. I'll treat this more like an X's and O's since this is a fight that people actually care about. Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez. So I picked RoboCop to win the fight. I'll tell you my pick first, and because I'm sure most of you have seen my full card video, but if not, you know who I'm picking in the beginning. So I got RoboCop. I think he's going to get a knockout. So the reason for that being, I think that Roman Kopylov is the more technical striker, but that isn't always enough against like a juggernaut like RoboCop, man. Like we've seen with Kopylov that he struggles with pressure, and it seems like when he's in there against guys that hit hard, he looks like a deer in headlights, which is what we saw in the Paulo Costa fight. And again, people don't give Costa, I feel like, enough credit for how he's evolved his style, right? And then they're like, oh, it's not the old Costa. He's actually better than the old Costa. He's not as flat-footed. He's not just walking forward into range, anymore. He's a lot more light on his feet, throwing, more dynamic stuff. So, in hindsight, the Costa loss, Costa had moments against Whitaker, right? He was in a pretty close fight with Sean Strickland as well. So Costa's better than what I think people want to give him credit for. So really, Roman Kopylov's got to keep the fight on the feet, obviously, but he's got to keep it at kicking range. If he can keep it there, I think that he can play that, long range game, kicks to the body, set up a head kick, maybe front kicks up the middle, use some of his boxing, from range. But I don't know, man. It's just for 15 minutes trying to avoid Gregory Rodriguez. Like, no one, whether Gregory wins or loses in his fights, you just don't avoid him for 15 minutes. It just doesn't happen. And if you're literally damn near KOing Jared Cannonier in a round, like, I'm sorry. I think that Roman Kopylov, when he gets hit, it's going to be a problem. And Kopylov is very, very hesitant when he's in there against powerful guys, man. And I feel like that's what's going to happen in this fight. I feel like he's going to be very cautious, trying to throw those kicks. RoboCop can even catch a kick and take him down. So, again, I know like what you're saying. What's up, man? MMA, how you doing, man? Yeah, I know that, RoboCop kind of gassed, in that fight with Cannonier, but this is 15 minutes. We saw him against CLD, which is actually, I think, Gregory's best win right now, considering what CLD just did to Marco Tulio. He looked amazing. I think RoboCop mixes in the grappling if he needs to. He can land big shots upstairs, knock out Kopylov, definitely hurt him, can catch a kick, take him down. RoboCop has more ways to win this fight, in my opinion. Of course, Kopylov can set him up with a high kick. It's that open stance battle, southpaw orthodox. I don't know, man. It's going to take kind of a perfect fight from Kopylov to get this one done. And RoboCop isn't just like this big, powerful juggernaut anymore, man. Like, he's starting to be a lot more methodical with the way that he's kind of approaching these fights, like throwing big power shots, but throwing combos, putting together some combinations. I like RoboCop here by KO. Maybe wins a decision, mixes in the grappling or something. I just don't know, man. I know Kopylov's kicks are dangerous and he's got, some decent speed and he is technical, but sometimes that doesn't mean that you're going to win a fight. And I feel like this is one of those cases. RoboCop is just, he's durable, powerful, ground game. I just feel like it's kind of a hard fight here for Kopylov. So I'm going Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez, man. I think he pressures the hell out of him, gets in his face, lands big shots, probably knocks him out. If not, takes him down. And we've seen that Kopylov can definitely get taken down and he struggles to get back up. All right, Bo Nipple versus Rodolfo Vieira. I'm going Bo Nickel. I actually think that Bo Nickel, I said by decision, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if Bo Nickel gets a finish in this fight. Now, I think that he could hurt him on the feet. Maybe he gets a ground and pound stoppage or something. I feel like Bo Nickel is going to come out here with a chip on his shoulder in this fight. I feel like he's going to have a point to prove, considering what happened in the RDR fight, which I know it wasn't a great look, but RDR, at least as we've seen, he's a guy that can go out there and beat a Robert Whittaker. So is Rodolfo Vieira beating a Robert Whittaker? Absolutely not. So, this is a step down in competition, but also it's still a better opponent than everybody that Bo has fought basically outside of Rodolfo Vieira or outside of RDR. Like, Rodolfo Vieira is the second best guy that he's probably fought. Vieira's not very dangerous. He doesn't really have knockout power, but he's got a good jab and he keeps it busy in your face, and that can disrupt your rhythm. But we've actually seen that on the feet, Bo Nickel does a decent job of kind of moving around on the outside. He's way more athletic than Vieira. He just is. And Rodolfo slows down as the fight goes. So, and even if Vieira tries to grapple, like, I don't think he's taking Bo Nickel down. I don't think he is. I think if anyone's getting taken down, it's Bo Nickel taking down Rodolfo Vieira. So if I'm Bo Nickel, I'm switching stances. I'm beating up that leg. We saw Andre Petroski do it to Vieira. I think Bo Nickel, he could do kind of the same thing that Petroski did. But I think Bo Nickel's got, well, striking isn't very good. He has more power and he's more explosive than a Petroski. And he's got the ground game. He's a better grappler than Petroski. People forget, man, but Bo Nickel's actually pretty good on the ground in terms of his submission skills as well. So RDR better on the feet than Vieira. Those knees are nasty. Nickel's got decent power in his hands. His striking's not particularly good. It's very amateurish, but I don't know. Rodolfo Vieira, he's a grappler at heart, man. Like, his striking has gotten a little bit better, but he doesn't really have any power. And he's not even really looking to knock anybody out. I think he's going to target the body of Bo Nickel, see if he can, try to do something like RDR did. But RDR, I mean, what is RDR? Like 6'4", 6'5", crazy, big middleweight. Totally different matchup here. I think this is a very winnable fight here, obviously, for Bo Nickel. I said by decision, but I'm honestly leaning more towards a finish here. I feel like Bo Nickel might be able to I feel like Bo Nickel might actually be able to go out here and get a stoppage, man. I don't think Adolfo Vieira is that dangerous. I know he's got good submission skills, but in MMA, I don't know. It hasn't looked that great on his end when it comes to the MMA angle. And Bo Nickel's still very good on the ground, man. So he struggles on the feet. I'd like to see him grapple a little bit in this fight. Hopefully he doesn't gas himself out. But I do think Bo Nickel bounces back strong here and puts on one of the better performances of his career and beats Adolfo Vieira. I'll say by decision, but kind of leaning a little bit more towards a finish at this point. Maybe a ground and pound, or he catches him with a big shot. All right, let's go into the main card, man. Bo might get submitted if he goes in there too reckless in the grappling. I mean, he could, but Adolfo Vieira, to me, he hasn't been that dangerous over his past few fights, man. I don't think he has. So, and it's a fight, anything can happen, but I think it's more likely that Bo Nickel finishes him somehow, whether it's a knockout, a submission, hurts him, then submits him, whatever. I feel like Bo Nickel should definitely win this fight. Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint Denis. And actually, by the way, this is the most tripped up I was for predictions on a main card probably ever, honestly. I don't remember going so back and forth on my picks I'm either going to do really good on picks for the main card. I feel pretty good about the prelims. Might get one wrong here, there, whatever. I feel like the main card is either going to go really well in terms of predictions or really bad, because that's how good these fights are. That's why everyone's so excited about this event. A lot of the reason is the fights are so good, so competitive. I could see them, all these fights on the main card, I could easily see them going either way. This is a hard one to pick. Now, I said Benoit Saint Denis by finish, and I am sticking with that. I think that Benoit Saint Denis does get this one done. But it's one of those weird cases where I actually think that Dariush is the better fighter. I feel like he's better on the feet in terms of he's a little bit more tight with his striking. He's got these guys actually kind of fight the same. They utilize the boxing, utilize a big kick to the body. But I don't know. Like, I feel like Dariush is very skilled, but he also just missed weight, I think, didn't he? Didn't Dariush miss weight by a couple pounds? So that's something to keep an eye on. I don't think he's ever missed weight, if I remember correctly. So what's going on there, right? He's getting a little older. We saw him get dropped by Renato Moicano. I know that, two of the losses out of his last five are to, Oliveira and Arman, which I think both of those guys probably beat BSD. Definitely Arman. But Charles Oliveira, he gets hit, but I still think that he would beat Saint Denis. I don't think Dariush is washed. I think that his chin is suspect, though. I think his chin is suspect. So I'd say he's a little bit chinny, but I wouldn't say that he's washed, though. His ground game is still really good. I think if he comes out here and fights a smart fight and he can put BSD on his back, I think Dariush can win a decision and out-grapple him. I definitely think that. And on the feet, I mean, BSD's striking defense is horrible, man. It really, really is. And he got butchered by Moicano on the ground, got teed up by Poirier on the feet. So again, styles make fights, those kinds of things. I don't know, man. I think Benoit wins, though. I just feel like it's going to be one of those things where he just kind of grits his way to a victory. I feel like he's going to catch Dariush. And I feel like if Moicano's hurting you, and I get it, Moicano beat BSD. I just feel like it's one of those like styles make fights things, man. And I feel like Saint Denis hits harder than Moicano. Well, definitely does, I think. It's going to be interesting, though. Southpaw and southpaw, that lead leg kick's going to be available. Maybe we see Saint Denis. I think he's going to try to pressure him, mix in some grappling as well. But I feel like this might turn into more of a striking battle. I feel like if anybody's going to grapple and have a lot of success, I feel like it's Dariush. Unless BSD can put him on his back. But Dariush is, he's scrambly from the bottom, man. I think Dariush is actually the better grappler. But I feel like Dariush can definitely get this one done, but I'm going with Saint Denis, though. I feel like his pressure, he's got the momentum, like you're saying, Jesus. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like he's just going to pressure him. Those shots that you were seeing, like a guy like Moicano land, if Saint Denis drops him, he's going to swarm him, man. And I think he's going to get on him and be able to put him away. So I'm still going to go Saint Denis. I think if Dariush grapples heavy, he has a chance. Maybe he can catch BSD in like a reckless exchange, but I don't know, man. I agree. I agree what you're saying, man. Dariush is the better fighter, but BSD is too dangerous. That's kind of how it feels. And it feels like Dariush is kind of, I don't think he's washed. I just feel like he's not really necessarily getting any better at this point, where Saint Denis is getting better. He's working with Nicholas Ott, Imavov's coach. I feel like they're going to have him ready and prepared for this fight, and he's actually going to fight a smart fight. He's going to brawl a little bit like he always does, but he's going to be a little bit smarter, and I think he goes out there and gets a stoppage. I think I said round 3, so I think Saint Denis gets it done. Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates. This is such a good fight, man. Such a good fight because so many people have written off Leon Edwards. But I am picking Carlos Prates to get this one done. But I said by decision. I have a little bit more respect for Leon's skills than maybe other people do. But I definitely see where Prates knocks him out, though. For sure. But in Leon's career, I don't think he's ever been KO'd. Right? But again, like Prates said at the press conference last night, the Leech had never been KO'd. And who else? Jeff Neal, I don't think had ever been KO'd. So Prates, I mean, he's got nasty Muay Thai, dude. Very, very nasty Muay Thai. He's adapted it well to MMA. He gets kind of long, bladed. But he holds his hands low. He reminds me a lot of Poatan does, Prates, right? Different, but same kind of build, whippy, snappy. You know, everything just, everything hurts, man. Even when he's not like throwing all of his, weight into something, everything hurts. And I feel like in this fight, it's just one of those things where Leon has to be so, it reminds me of Poatan versus Izzy to a degree. Now, different because Prates, he's got a lot of output and it's a different kind of matchup, but it's of the mind that Leon Edwards has to be so perfect for 15 minutes. For 15 minutes, he's got to be so perfect to where all it takes is one from Prates. So it's kind of that Izzy versus, different, but I'm just saying it's two guys that have good striking, right? Prates has a lot of variety, though. He's got good calf kicks, right? Leon switches stances, but Prates, they're when Leon's southpaw, that calf kick's going to be available. And then Prates, he's got a system, right? He can stick and move from range. He could dart in and out. He marches you down, throws those big power shots to try to get you to close the gap. So then that way he can step in with that knee and hit you to the body with that nasty knee. And we saw him put Charles Radke away with it. We've seen him, finish guys with those knees, man. So I feel like Prates it definitely could get a KO in this fight. I said by decision just because I think Leon is, but again, it's kind of hard to see this go in the distance then, honestly. I feel like Leon could even catch Prates. I know Leon's not necessarily known for being a knockout artist. I know he, head kick KO'd Usman, but this is the best striker that Leon has ever fought. So, and Prates was just in there with Jeff Neal. And Jeff Neal and Leon, in my opinion, have a close fight. I think Jeff Neal, in a 15-minute fight, he might even be able to outstrike Leon Edwards. I don't know that that's crazy to say. I don't think they fought. So I don't know. Like, I think Leon's going to break out the grappling, but Leon's grappling is underrated. But is it so much better than Prates? I don't think it is. I think he's better, but I don't think he's that much better than Carlos's ground game, than what Carlos's ground game is. So I think on the feet, like, Leon's technical, but he's flat-footed and he doesn't move a lot, right? And people are going to say, well, look what Ian Gary did. Ian Gary is a big, long-rangey guy who is super elusive, man. Super elusive, bouncing around on the outside. You got to track him down. You got to kind of chase him. You don't really have to chase Leon Edwards, man. Leon tries to move forward, and he's very stationary. So I feel like it's a lot easier for Carlos to be able to kind of get in there. But again, Prates holds his hands low, man. He really does. And guys that hold their hands low like that, right? He kind of rolls with shots, catches them on his shoulder, on his guard, he reminds me a lot of Pineda, man. Really, really does. Different, though. Very, very different striking variety. They have their different, things that they do. But Prates is really the Nightmare is the perfect nickname because his striking style is so unique, man. Like, I feel like people, they get caught up in the personality, right? The cigarettes, which is disgusting, by the way, is so disgusting. Him with the cigarettes. I think that's so gross. But the thing is, like, exactly what you're saying, Jesus. The X factor is, I play Madden, man. Carlos Prates has a blinking, I don't know if he'd be an X factor. I feel like he would be maybe superstar. I don't know. Maybe I feel like he would have star development here. So I don't know if he gets, an X factor, but in terms of the X factor ability, it would be the KO power for sure. But he's not just this knockout artist. People talk about Prates like, oh, well, he's just this big, scary puncher. Dude, this is a technical striker. This is a guy that's got layers to his game, man. Like, if you watch a Carlos Prates fight, especially his Muay Thai fights, he has a system in play. I tried to And I'm trying to give you guys the more in-depth thoughts that I have instead of in the full card video where I kind of just give you the cliff notes. But Prates has layers, man. He's got a very, very good 1-2 from the outside. He'll bang up your lead leg. So then it makes you do two things. One, will pressure the hell out of you to make you throw at him, to then he can slip off and counter with the left hand. Or you pressure into him to try to, take him down, back him up, whatever. And then here comes that knee up the middle. So really, no matter what range you're at with Carlos, you're in danger of getting finished. And that it's hard to pick against a guy that can do that. So I understand why people feel like Leon can win this fight, and I'm not counting him out. I think Leon's very capable with a smart game plan. Maybe Leon can pull it off. And I like how people, are saying like Leon has to grapple. I don't think he has to grapple in this fight. And by the way, when has Leon ever won a fight by having this super, full-blown wrestling game plan? I don't think that's something we've really seen. And so if you're a fighter that doesn't really do that and you try something completely new where you try to become a grappler for the first time, super heavy in your fights, offensively at least. We know he's been defending takedowns against, his past, 4 or 5 fights have all been wrestlers. But it's different when you're the guy that's trying to grapple, right? You're going to fatigue yourself. You're going to, blow your arms up. You're going to wear on yourself. And trying to tire yourself out grappling, if you're not able to stop Prates and then you're tired and slow on the feet in front of a dangerous guy, that's not where you want to be. That's a bad spot. So I think Leon's actually going to try to strike a lot in this fight. I don't know how much he grapples. I think he'll look to if he has the opportunity, but I think he's going to switch stances, try to attack the legs of Carlos, and he's going to try to set up a head kick for sure. Try to counter box a little bit considering Carlos's hands are low. I don't know, man. Leon's got a different kind of style, though, than what Prates has had to deal with in MMA, at least. I know Carlos has fought a lot of Muay Thai guys, but they're more aggressive and just kind of Muay Thai guys just throw things out there. They'll show you some feints, but I feel like Leon is kind of like an Ian Gary where that's where Carlos struggled was the movement of Gary, the feints, the setups. Leon doesn't move as much as Gary, but it's the feints and, twitching and just kind of making Prates just think a little bit, slow him down a little bit. I feel like those are some things that are going to cause Carlos some issues, at least early on. But I think Carlos will eventually figure it out, and I think he'll land the bigger shots. And I think he gets this one done over Leon Edwards. So with a smart game plan, right, I'm not counting out Leon because, again, this is a striker. It's not a grappler. But, again, Prates is a lot more than just a power hitter, man. He's a very, very technical and dynamic striker, man. He's not just some, big power guy like people are trying to make it out to be. All right, let me look at the chat, and then I'll get into this next one. You don't know how his cardio holds. I know, man. It's like I think it's disgusting, to be honest with you. Leon is so back, bro. He ain't losing 3 in a row. We'll see, man. I wouldn't say it's a favorable matchup. It's favorable in the aspect that he doesn't have a grappler, but this is a dangerous striker, man. A very, very dangerous striker. What's up, AJ? How you doing? Great live stream. What do I think the chance is for Islam to get a KO by knee to the head or similar? We're going to talk about that in just a few, man. I'm going to get to that main event in just a minute, in just a couple minutes. All right, let's talk about this one here because I got more thoughts on the main event than what I did in my video because I recorded that video the other day and then it went out yesterday. So that was from a few days ago. So I got more thoughts. Okay, Sean Brady, Michael Morales. I'm picking Michael Morales by KO. I'm sticking with that. I think we're going to see a second round KO. Might even happen in the first. If Sean Brady does not get this fight to the ground, and I mean very quickly, he's going to be in a world of trouble. And the reason that I say that, yes, he might get hit by a big shot by Morales. Yes, Morales might hit him with some sort of flurry or whatever. Michael Morales has such underrated leg kicks. And I feel like if he starts to land a couple of those early, it's really going to affect Sean Brady, man. It's going to affect his confidence. It's going to affect his movement. And I think it's going to get in his head a little bit. It's going to make him worry a little bit. Then he's going to start to get desperate. And then whenever you start to get desperate for a takedown, that's where you really get opened up to being possibly KO'd. So I like Sean Brady a lot. I like both of these guys. This is an amazing fight. It really comes down to the fact of, is Michael Morales' ground game as good as we think it might be? Because we've seen some flashes to where it looks pretty good, right? Against Burns, against Magny. Brady is better than those guys. And people want to judge Morales a lot on his ground game from what we saw early in his UFC career. But like I said earlier in the stream, a lot of fighters, when they get to the point of Michael Morales is 26? Fighters come into the UFC at 26, and we see a lot of those grappling mistakes before the UFC on the regional scene. We've just seen them with Michael Morales because he's grown up in the UFC. He's been in the UFC for a while now. So we've seen him make mistakes on the ground. If he does those things against Sean Brady and Brady's able to get him down, like Sean Brady will win this fight. He could win by a decision, or I think he honestly could submit him. If Morales' ground game is not up to par and is, not as good as what we might think it might be, Sean Brady could ragdoll him around and dominate him because Sean Brady's really strong, man. Really, really strong. Really, really good jiu-jitsu. Solid takedowns. But I feel like something's just telling me that Morales is going to come out, stand his ground. He's a big, strong, athletic guy. I call him the unicorn for a reason, man, right? He's just got all these attributes. He's like a my player that you would create on like a sports video game. He's got a crazy reach. I think he's got like, what is it, a 79-inch reach or something? Yes, 79-inch reach. He's got a 7-inch reach advantage, right? He's just this big guy, man. You saw him in there with Gilbert Burns. It looked like two different weight classes. And Gilbert Burns, I know, is like not the biggest welterweight. He used to be a lightweight, but Gilbert Burns is like pretty stout, man. You know what I mean? Brother, he have good striking, but nobody checked the grappling. I mean, we've seen, Magny and different guys try. So again, Sean Brady's a step up from that for sure. Brady's in his prime. Outside of the loss to Bilal, like we've seen Sean Brady's look really, really good, man. And the one thing about Brady that I find really impressive, we've even seen guys like Hamzat go out there and not really look to grapple with Burns because of the danger that Gilbert presents when it comes to his guard. Look what Brady did. He went right after him. He didn't even care. Now, I feel like I've said this before. I feel like a lot of that with Hamzat was the fact that they felt like Hamzat's striking was far better so they could outstrike him. And then Hamzat just ended up getting into a brawl. That's why Hamzat's coach at the time, Andreas Michael, was going bananas in the corner, was because Hamzat was brawling. And he was like, no, just stay long, be technical, outstrike this guy, man. And I also feel like Hamzat's jiu-jitsu coach had grappled with Gilbert Burns before. So I felt like there was this kind of false sense of danger of how dangerous Burns actually was. Gilbert's good on the ground, but I feel like Hamzat could have actually just went in there and just took Burns down and out-grappled him if he really really focused on that. But I feel like they just felt like they could definitely outstrike him, and then Hamzat just ended up getting into a brawl. But the point that I'm making, Sean Brady went after Gilbert Burns and did not care about his jiu-jitsu at all. That's impressive. That is impressive to do. Now, whether it's like the prime Gilbert Burns, whatever, people are always going to say that. Still impressive. But then you see Michael Morales go out there and literally starch him. I mean, the fight didn't even have a moment of anything being competitive. So I think Morales bangs leg kicks early. He's going to affect the movement of Brady. And then I think, he's going to stuff a takedown. Maybe Brady gets him down. Morales gets back up. And then I think he's going to attack the legs again. And Brady's going to become more of a stationary target. And then he's going to be a sitting duck up against the fence, man. And I think he's going to try to, listen, Brady is one of those guys that, as good as he is, we saw in the Bilal fight, if you can pressure him a little bit, not allow him to do what he wants to do, and you could hit him a little bit, you just see this big change in his body language. So again, if Brady goes out there and Morales' ground game is not nearly as good as what we think it might be, I think Brady could take him down, beat him up by a decision, beat him up on the ground, probably even submit him. But I feel like Morales' ground game is a little bit better than what people want to give it credit for. So I think that Morales attacks the lead leg early, backs him up, lands some of those big power shots. I call him the unicorn for a reason, man. This guy's like a my player, right? He's got all these attributes: big, tall, rangy, crazy power. His background is wrestling. I don't know, man. Again, MMA is very different, right? Just being, my background's in wrestling, that's not enough always. But at the end of the day, I feel like he's better than what people want to give it credit for. So I'm going to say Morales does get the KO in this fight, but I could definitely see Sean Brady, brother, check at the grappling at this one. Valentina Zhang Weili. I got Weili by decision. I'm still going with that. But again, I think that this is super competitive. And I think that if this was like Valentina, now, I don't think Valentina is so far. I don't feel like Valentina is really out of her prime as much as people make it out to be. She's definitely, I think, lost a little bit of a step, but I don't think it's as much as people kind of make it out to be. I feel like she's still pretty good, man. Like, I just went back and watched some of the Manon Fiorot fight. She controlled her in the first round, but it was really Valentina outstriking her. So as good as Fiorot is, like even at this point in her career, like Valentina was outstriking her. So that's impressive. But I feel like Zhang Weili coming up in weight, she's really, really looked good, man. Her grappling is good. I don't know that Valentina is just going to have her way with Weili on the ground. And I think that Weili might even be able to mix in her ground game as well, right? I feel like it's going to be the Muay Thai, the knees, the kicks, even the hands at range from, Shevchenko. But I feel like Weili is going to try to, close the gap, turn this into a little bit more of an explosion contest. I feel like kind of that, tit for tat back and forth, that favors Shevchenko. I don't know, man. I feel like Valentina's going to try to mix it up a lot in this fight, but I don't know. Maybe she has success doing that. I could see this one going either way. To me, this is a coin flip, but I feel like I feel like she's a little bit more hitting her stride at this moment. Like I said, I don't think Valentina's dropped off much at all. Like people are acting like she's way out of her prime. I don't necessarily look at it that way, but I think Zhang Weili is better than Alexa Grasso. And if you're in these, I know that Valentina got the better of the series there, and there was some funkiness going on in those fights, at least the first two. I feel like Weili, man, especially in that Suarez fight, she showed that her grappling is a lot better now. And I know Valentina is way better than Suarez. I get that. And Valentina on the feet, people forget, man, she's a very good striker. So if it's on the feet, I think Valentina has more variety to where I could see her, utilizing the kicks, keeping her distance, outlanding Weili, mixing in some grappling to keep her honest. I could see Weili definitely losing this fight to Shevchenko here. I think Shevchenko can definitely get this one done. But I am going to go with Weili, though. Yeah, I think it's a coin flip as well, man. I think it's a coin flip. So, yeah, I'm going to go Weili by decision, but I don't have a lot of confidence. I think that it's really a coin flip, to be honest with you. It's one of those fights that I could really just see going either way. I'm going to be interested to see the grappling exchanges, because I feel like Shevchenko might have a little bit of an edge, but Weili being, a little bit, only an inch shorter. I thought she would be quite a bit shorter, but yeah, I feel like Weili's ground game, like what you're saying, Jesus, it's really leveled up, man. So I feel like the power in her hands, the striking, I think she's going to be able to match the speed of Shevchenko. I think it's a competitive fight, but I think Zhang Weili gets it done by a decision. I'm going Weili here. All right, main event. The UFC updated. Is that a new Islam pic? No, I think that's an old Islam picture, isn't it? All right, main event. JDM versus Islam. You got, wait, what'd you say, Lahib? So many coin flips in this fight card. That's why it's so great. That's exactly what I'm saying, man. That's what this main card, like I said a few minutes ago, is like. It's either going to be, I'm going to do really good on picks or really bad, because the fights are kind of coin flips, a lot of them. And then it's like, well, if you pick the other side, then, so it has an ability to be a bad night in terms of picks, at least for the main card. So main event. I've already broken this fight down a lot. I'm sure you guys have kind of already seen my thoughts quite a bit on this video, but, from the weigh-ins and, this morning and the press conference last night, it seems like JDM, and I expected come, fight night in the cage, I said that I expect JDM to be more stout. I expected to be thicker, more filled out. He's the established welterweight. He looks quite a bit thicker than Islam, right? In terms of the height, they're very similar, but in terms of the, their frames, it's pretty clear to me that Jack is quite a bit more stout than Islam, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Again, we'll see when they rehydrate. We'll see at the ceremonial weigh-ins tonight, especially come fight night. We'll see what they look like in the octagon. But I was actually pretty surprised at the difference that I saw. Again, it's hard to tell right now because the pictures are going around and people just try to rage bait and engagement, because that's the big thing on X now, is just a rage bait, because people, if you got the premium account, you can get paid for it. So, yeah, so I see a lot of different pictures going around. I don't know. I want to see the ceremonial weigh-in. I want to see come fight night. But we all kind of knew that come fight night, JDM is going to be more stout. He's going to be more filled out. He's the established welterweight. Having said all of that, I still believe that on the feet, I think that Islam can do better than what people might think, but I still don't think that if it's a straight-up striking battle, and that's what this was for 25 minutes, I favor JDM to win that fight. I favor Jack to win that fight. And if anyone is getting a KO in this fight, I lean towards Jack getting the KO. I think Islam has clean striking. His footwork's a little bit bad at times where he gets himself out of position, kind of falls over his own feet at some points. That's a little bit of a mess against JDM, because I think JDM is going to go southpaw a little bit in this fight. I think he's going to try to bang up that lead leg of Islam, man, because if I'm JDM, that's what I'm doing. I'm attacking the lead leg. I'm trying to slow down his movement, make him more of a stationary target. I could see JDM just putting some work on the lead leg, slowing Islam down as the fight goes, beating him up with the jab, throwing the shots to the body, and then eventually stuffing enough takedowns to where Islam slows down a little bit. And then JDM just marches him up against the fence and is able to stop him and finishes him. I definitely could see that, man. Like, that's why I keep saying, like, Jack is the most dangerous fight that Islam's had, I think, for sure. Like, I clearly recognize the danger here, man. Like, it's very possible that JDM knocks him out. And I think it's more, honestly, I think it might be more likely that JDM gets a TKO stoppage than a decision over Islam. I am that high on JDM striking. But I don't know. We've seen Islam is durable for the most part, but again, Jack, he's going to hit harder than these other guys, man. He just is. He's going to hit hard. So at the end of the day, I still think that Islam is going to get this one done, and I think that it's just going to be the fact of I feel like while JDM, I think, is going to do very well initially against the grappling, I think that Islam just has layers, man. It's layers. It's not, well, we're just preparing for jiu-jitsu. We're just preparing for wrestling. Like, Islam's good at basically every discipline when it comes to grappling. He's got great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu, great judo. He's just good at everything. That's why I call him a haunted house grappler, right? Because he has everything. And he puts you in immediate danger, and his ground and pound is good. So I feel like Jack might be able to stop some of these takedowns, and I think he's going to actually be kind of harder to take down than what people might think. But I eventually think Islam gets him down. I think he's going to be able to get on top, control him. And I think that he's going to get into some of these top positions and be able to really kind of neutralize Jack on the floor. Now, I'm not saying the first time he gets him down that he's just going to run him over and submit him right away. I don't think that happens. But I think that we have also not really seen, we didn't see in the Bilal fight, it took Bilal a while to a lot of that was the movement of JDM and the game plan that Jack had. He was stuffing the takedowns early. But I'm wondering, like what we saw in the Gilbert Burns fight, if you're able to grapple with JDM early, while I know people have questions about Islam's gas tank because he's the one adding on extra size coming up here, I also wonder myself, and I'm just now thinking about this, I feel like I think of something new every time I talk about this fight. I'm wondering what happens if Jack spends a large amount of time on the bottom early in the fight. Does that wear on him a little bit to where we see a little bit of a different JDM that we may not have seen before? I feel like that's possible. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I feel like maybe that's possible. We saw in the Gilbert Burns fight. I mean, he got up, pushed the pace on him, and was able to knock him out in round 3. So that was very impressive. Jack can dig deep, man. He's durable. So, I mean, I've said it before. I'm very concerned for Islam in this fight. I am very, very concerned, man. I'm very concerned, man. Like, I'm not some delusional guy up here. Like, again, it's a fight. Anything could happen. I know people say, well, because I picked Khamzat to run over Dricus. I didn't expect that fight to be competitive. I expected Khamzat to go out there, run him over. There was a clear gap when it came to the ground game. Do we see that here? I think it's less likely in this fight than it is in the Khamzat DDP fight. Way less likely. I think Khamzat is a much different grappler than Islam. He's a far more explosive wrestler. He's a way different style of fighter. And again, middleweight. This is welterweight, different. Islam's a lightweight coming up here. He's very, very technical, very different style of grappler than a Chimaev. I think JDM's better on the ground than DDP, honestly, in terms of his scrambles, at least. He doesn't just, wait on the bottom and wait for something to happen, right? That's part of why that fight was so boring, because DDP didn't even try to make anything happen. And I agree with you. I think Khamzat is the best grappler in the history of the sport. I do. I think so. So, I've said that a lot about Khamzat. I agree with you on that. If Craig wasn't helping JDM for the camp, you wouldn't be as worried. Yeah, I mean, if there was no Craig Jones, I feel like that's definitely a thing. But JDM's ground game was already decent before, but adding in Craig Jones is definitely going to help. But at the end of the day, it's layers to Islam's game. It's not just jiu-jitsu. It's everything added in together. Yeah, there's real danger here for Islam, man. If he can't, and I feel like if he gets stuck on the feet, as good of a striker as I think he is, I still don't think he's better than Jack. I don't think he's better than Jack on the feet. He might have better like kicks, right? His kicks are pretty good. He's very, very, very evasive, but he tries to stay so safe that sometimes that kind of pulls himself out of range and not allowing him to be able to counter right away. I've seen that with Islam, where his countering gets a little bit sloppy. But when he's going first, I mean, he was throwing nasty combinations against DP, man, Dustin Poirier. Go back and watch that fight if you haven't. He was throwing, a double jab, left hand behind it, double jab, uppercut. Like, he was throwing some nice boxing combinations. But I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't think he's a better striker than Jack. And I feel like on the feet, JDM is going to be a step ahead. I believe that. Now, I do think, and people disagree with me on this one, I think that Islam's going to have a little bit more sting on his shots that might be able to catch Jack a little bit by surprise. But we've seen Jack is durable. He's been hit by hard hitters like Gilbert Burns. He's been in there with a guy like Kevin Holland, Randy Brown. Those are, I know, not like great strikers, but they're pretty good. So I feel like Islam is smarter than those guys on the feet. He's the most well-rounded guy that Jack has fought. But Jack is also, in my opinion, the most dangerous striker that Islam has fought as well. So that's where we are. I think JDM is going to be hard to take down. I think it's going to be hard to keep down. But I do feel like Islam's striking is underrated, man. But I feel like if I had a guarantee that this fight was on the feet for 25 minutes, I don't know that Islam wins that fight. I don't know that he wins that fight. I think that favors JDM, man. He's got the power. He's got the combinations. He's a striking specialist, man. His boxing's really, really, really good, and he's very comfortable there. But I feel like with Islam constantly threatening takedowns, threatening level changes, mixing in kicks, kind of just doing, some of these level change feints, kind of waving that hand around a little bit. We saw Ankalaev do that in the first Poatan fight. I'm not saying, and again, very different fight, but just having the threat of the takedown, I'm not saying that that's the only reason Islam striking is good. I think if you told Islam to go out there and strike with anybody, he can do it. He's a very good striker. I'm just saying, why not use that element to help with your striking? That helps set up more shots. And I think it was you, Lahib, that was asking this. Do I think Islam could knock out JDM? I think that it is much more likely that JDM knocks out Islam. I think that if Islam gets a stoppage in this fight, it is by a submission, because I think that his ground game is still going to be a step ahead of Jack. However, we've seen JDM is very durable. We've seen him eat some big shots before. I think it was Gilbert Burns landed a pretty big shot on him, and it didn't even faze him. Islam, because he has the threat of the takedown, and he has a very high fight IQ, and he sets things up very well, Jack dips his head. And with the confidence that Jack has had in his ground game, a lot of that is because he dips his levels down and he throws the jab up at you, but he's also trying to down block. He's trying to dig for his underhooks. He tries to hold his hands a little bit lower to be able to stuff the takedowns. That's something that Islam can take advantage of by throwing knees, by throwing high kicks, by throwing a left hand and a high kick right behind it, like what Leon landed on Usman. I feel like that would be a really good combo in this fight. 1-2 high kick behind it. It's going to be interesting. And the other thing about Jack is he's a different kind of puzzle because he's a switch hitter. He can fight really, really well out of both stances. So that's a different kind of puzzle. Islam hasn't fought somebody like that yet. So they haven't really fought anybody really quite like each other. I think Volk, there's some similarities, but JDM's different, man. I think JDM's a different kind of, I think Volk is harder to take down because he's a lower center of gravity guy, very strong, pound for pound. I mean, Volkanovski's a legend, man. You never know. JDM could be one of these next legends. I don't know, man. So there's a lot of danger here, though, for Islam. People acting like there's no danger for Islam is crazy. JDM is getting heavily it was crazy because it was like JDM was being disrespected. Then Islam was being disrespected. And now it's kind of going back to what JDM's being really disrespected. So I feel like it's a very competitive fight. It's exciting for a reason. Anytime we got a guy going for a double, for double champ status is always crazy. Jack's a real threat, man. His boxing's really good. He's got some power, good cardio. Yeah. Jack, I'm worried for Islam in this fight, man. I'm picking Islam. I do think he gets it done. Wins a decision, gets a submission. I think he finds a submission late in the fight in a scramble. But yeah, I feel like it's definitely possible that Jack knocks him out, though. I definitely see that as a real possibility in this fight for sure. If he can start to avalanche, stuff the takedowns, his confidence is going to grow. He throws those little uppercut feints to try to deter the takedowns. He's got good knees, good elbows. He's a good all-around striker. He's not just a boxer. So I like JDM a lot, man. May the best man win, man. I'm gonna be happy for whoever wins, regardless. So that's how I feel about this whole card, man. I'm just excited to watch these fights, man. Excited to nerd out, and I'm gonna go live for the card tomorrow. So definitely for the main card, maybe at least for the featured prelim, so we can watch Bo Nipple fight and we can react live to that one. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I could do the whole card. That's a long time, man. So I don't know. I got ADHD, so sometimes I'm like, blah, 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 and then I'll lose my voice, and then I'll not be able to do a recap video. So, and then I got to do a full card video for Qatar. That'll probably come out on Monday because we got a lot. I'll have to do a recap after this event goes down. JDM is a better striker than Volk, but Volk apparently can't be submitted. No neck. Yeah, Volk's got no neck. He's got no neck. Honestly, where does Islam go from here if he loses? Does he fight a contender? I don't know, man. It'd be interesting. That's a good point. I feel like he's going to find himself in a very tricky situation. Because if he wins, I mean, then it's like, okay, next dangerous guy, next contender, whatever. But if he loses, does he stick at welterweight? Does he go back down to lightweight, fight Topuria? Maybe he retires. Yeah, exactly. You read my mind, Jason. Maybe he retires. I don't know. I don't know if he would want to go out on an L, though, but I don't know. He might even win the belt and retire. I don't know. You think Islam versus Usman is next for Islam if he loses, and if he wins, Ilya probably going to move up? I could see that. I could see Islam versus Usman happening because of the legacy aspect, but I don't think Usman should fight for the belt next. What's up, Jonathan Borky? You're really interested in Islam's speed at 170. Ceremonial weigh-ins will be very important to see the rehydration size difference. That's what I was saying earlier in the stream. I agree with you 100%. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very, very, very interesting to see how this all plays out. So I think Islam's speed will maybe, yeah, that'll be an interesting thing because he's not always known for his speed, but his hands actually look kind of quick against Poirier. So we'll see what they look like against JDM in this fight. But Islam, if his game plan, like he said, if he has to stand with him and strike, he will. But that ain't the game plan. The game plan is to play the striking game a little bit, lull Jack into kind of a little bit of a comfort, thing like, oh, we're striking, then boom, level change, take him down. I think that's kind of what we're looking at in this fight, man. So I think JDM, he could definitely get a KO in this fight, though. I definitely think Jack is live for a KO. So, but I'm picking Islam. I think he gets it done. But to say that, Jack can't win, I know that there's people out there that don't think it's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. Jack's very good, man. Very, 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 very good. So I know tomorrow, man, one day away. The game plan is always the same for Islam, just nobody can stop it so far. Exactly. He's like a Hamza, right? You know what he's going to do, but you got to be able to stop it. You think JDM is going to be aware of the Darce choke when he scrambles and he will be okay? And I agree with you, but it's also one of those things when you're in the heat of the moment, you're striking, you're sweaty, you're, breathing heavy a little bit, makes things a little tricky. And that's also the other thing for JDM. If he can stay safe, in the grappling exchanges early, that's going to be huge too, because when you're not sweaty, it's hard. When you start to get real sweaty, you can kind of slip and slide your way out of some spots, man. It makes it a little bit harder to kind of, control somebody a little bit, right? Not a ton, but it makes things a little bit more, you can kind of slip and slide your way out of some things. So I feel like JDM is going to have to just be very careful early on when it comes to the grappling. So really the whole fight, but especially early when they're dry. Moicano and Poirier were aware of it. Look at them. I know, and those are guys that have been training, grappling like their whole life, and look what happens. That's what I've said about Islam. There's guys that have literally trained their whole life on the ground, and Islam makes them look like they've never grappled before. That's why people look at Islam as one of the all-time greats, man. That, when you're able to go out there and do that kind of stuff, it's very, very impressive. So, but we will see, man. We will see a couple more, and then that's going to be it for this live stream, man. So I appreciate it, man. I appreciate everybody hopping into this. So this has been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdowns. We got some good responses in terms of the X's and O's, so I feel like I'm going to start doing those moving forward, especially for maybe for like fight night main events too, main events for pay-per-views. I think that's what we're going to look to do. One more sleep, man. Yeah, the John Anik voice. Do you think JDM's body shots are going to be a problem for Islam, which will lead to Islam gassing, putting water in the basement, like Teddy Atlas would say? I think that he's definitely going to do that. Tracy looked drained. I just don't know how serious she's taking the fight game anymore, Eddie. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I appreciate the stream, Elton. Thank you guys for popping on here, man. This was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this. That's my breakdowns on the fights, man. So same predictions. Like I said, it's either going to be a good night for predictions or a bad one for most of the fights, at least for the main card, because of how good the fights are, man. So I'm going to be live for the event, definitely for the main card, at least. Well, featured prelim, Bo Nipple, Bo Nipple and Vieira's fight and on. I'm definitely going to be live for that. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.